believe I'm getting ready to tell jokes to a bunch of strangers in a pizza restaurant. This is like a bucket list item for sure. Definitely one of the crazier things I've done. I love doing crazy stuff though. It's awesome. And I have a philosophy that gets me through just about anything I want to try. It's not rocket science, right? And I know this because I used to be a rocket scientist. I used to design turbine engines, and I did that for a while, but then I got into real estate, which is a complete 180 from engineering, let me tell you. If you introduce yourself as an engineer, people are like, wow, you must be really smart. But if you introduce yourself as a real estate agent, it's like you said, I have the flu, and I'm highly contagious, and they can't get away from me fast enough. It's a real transition. But I love the business. It's awesome. It's very stressful, though. It's not like on HGTV. It's actually a very stressful business, and we all have our ways of coping. Mine involves a box of wine in the bottom drawer of my refrigerator. And I love the box of wine because it's completely non-judgmental. You know, a bottle of wine, if you need a little extra that day, it just sits there and tells you, you know, there's not much left in the bottle, Kristin. But the box is like, take what you need. I don't care. I don't judge. So I go to my wine box drawer one day and open it up, and I see all these beers. I'm like, where did all these beers come from? And I realized at that moment that I had been raising kids for 21 years. They were not my beers, they were my kids' beers, right, boys? And it was great because I realized that I was looking at the finish line. I'm like, I'm gonna make it, I am gonna make it. And sure enough, my youngest has turned 18. So it marks the finale of raising kids when you're no longer legally responsible for their shenanigans, right? So it's like a new era in my life, and I get to do all these cool things now, like tell jokes to strangers in pizza restaurants. It's great. But one thing I'm really looking forward to is dating. I have tried dating. I've been single for 10 years or so, and I've given it a shot, but it is tough to date when you have kids. And I don't just have kids, I have boys. I have 4 boys, and they're formidable. They range in height from 6 foot to 6'4". They make a physical presence. 2 of them are athletes, 2 of them are more of a geek style. So together they're like a transformer version of a dude. I mean, they're like all the parts of a guy in one. And it's sort of like weaponized testosterone. It's like really scary, right? And so if I'm dating a guy, I realize at some point he's going to have to meet my kids. And I keep this in mind because, see, they live by this bro code. And I don't really know everything that's involved in the bro code. I don't have a penis, so they won't tell me what's in it. But the gist of it is, it's the sort of the guidelines for what makes you a man. You know, there's like a scale of manhood. So they live by this code, and so any guy that comes home and meets them is going to have to measure up to this code. So, like this one guy I went out with, he was a nice guy. He was really super nice, really good cook. Invites me over to make dinner, and I'm in his kitchen. It's a lovely evening, great conversation, a little Chardonnay. And he walks across the kitchen to go get something out of the fridge. And I'm watching, and I was like, what was that? And I was like, was that like a swish? Was he walking with a little bit of a swish? And as he walks back, I'm like, oh my God, I was slightly horrified because it wasn't just a swish, it was like a sachet. He was sashaying across that kitchen. And I was like, oh, this is not going to work. I cannot bring that guy home to my boys. They will eat him alive. So I had to break up with him. It was sad. But this other guy I went out with, Jeff, I thought he had what it would take to pass muster with the boys. I really, really did. You know, I thought he could make it through the final round. And by final round, I don't mean in the sense of a reality TV show, you know, where there's reward challenges and elimination rounds and stuff. I mean, when they meet my kids, that's it. It's the final round. I don't really see them after that. But I really thought he could make it. So I invite him over to meet the boys. And as soon as he comes in the door, it starts, right? The games begin with the handshake, that guy handshake thing where you're sizing up the guy. And you kind of move in with the body language, and You kind of raise the chin up to emphasize the fact that, Jeff, you're just not quite as tall as we are. Just to set the tone. So then everybody comes in and sits down, and the conversation begins. Because, believe me, I don't think for a minute that they're just having a conversation that's completely strategic. It starts with Connor, and he's the friendly guy. He's the chum. He's like, hey, Jeff, what kind of car do you drive? That's awesome. Like, what do you got under the hood? It's real friendly talk. And then Kyle, who's Connor's twin brother, starts in. And like a lot of twins are 180 degrees apart. So Kyle is not as friendly and much more direct and blunt. And so his line of questioning is more like, so Jeff, how much do you make a year? What's your credit score? What do you bench, Jeff? So they have like this good cop, bad cop thing going on with this guy. Meanwhile, Jake, who's my youngest, my 6'4" baby, he's at the end, and he doesn't say anything. He just sort of gives Jeff sort of nonverbal feedback. Sort of like, point Jeff, point LaVanway boys. He's like keeping score of the whole thing. So this is going on, and Jeff's kind of hanging in there, but then they bring in the closer, Luke. He is like a bohemian soccer player. He is like alternative. He is the kind of guy that could go to Europe for a year with a backpack and a $20 bill. I mean, he's just in all kinds of stuff. So he starts dropping in all these obscure comments and topics, like Jeff, hey, what do you think about this FIFA situation? And have you ever done any earthworm gardening? Is that like something you're thinking? Like, what's your feeling about shamanism? Is that, he's like dropping all this in. And so Jeff's just dying here. But he has like a Hail Mary pass. He throws this out. Hey, did you guys see the fight this weekend? And it's like he threw raw meat into a pack of wolves, right? They're just all over that, like, oh yeah, we saw that fight. That was great. Did you see the third round? You should have had him in the third round. And so Jeff's thinking like, okay, I got this now. He starts to get a little confidence. He starts to lose focus, which is a big, big mistake. Because here comes this lobbed out. Hey, so Jeff, how much weed do you smoke a week? Now, if Jeff had been on his game, he would have thought this out and realized, much like this room is a mixed crowd, right? Some partake, some don't. Probably would have gone the strategy of, I don't inhale, sort of feel the room out a little bit. But instead, without thinking, he says, oh yeah, I like a doobie before my yoga class. And the room is silent. And the boys are all looking at each other like, did he just say that? Did he just say that? And Jake's giving this. Because it's like game over for Jeff. Because what he realizes in the bro code, here's swishers, here's guys who do yoga. It's like game, set, match. He's out. Sorry, Jeff. Thanks for playing our game. But going forward, the good news here is that I get to check off the all my kids are over 18 box on all the dating sites. So I'm really hoping that things are turning around for me. So that's it. I thank you guys so much, especially all my friends that came. This was awesome. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Kristin LaVanway, everybody. That was exciting. You guys are good to your mom.
I see them back there too. I see them.
Anyway, one of the things about this show is I get to see a lot of people I really enjoy telling jokes, and this one's making his first visit with us.